What's going on, guys? How you doing? This is Franklin Cruz. So I'm going to be going over what's your property worth. I get asked that all the time from people always calling us of like, hey, I want to sell my property. I want you to buy my property. I want you to assist me selling my property. All kinds of things. I have a commercial, all this stuff. It always boils down to the very easy words that come out right now. What is my property worth? So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to go over is 4 different things, including I'm going to probably add some bonus things on so anybody can understand what is your property worth right now in today's market. Yes, in today's market, you can figure that out, and that's what we're about to do in this video. So get started. Make sure you got a pen and paper out. We're going to get rocking. Oh, and before we get started as well, don't forget, if you get something out of this, smash that like button as quickly as you possibly can. So here we go. Number 1, what's my property worth? So the first thing you should do is you should order an appraisal. So ordering an appraisal is like the easiest way how to get to know what is my property actually worth. And because of that, well, frankly, I can't afford an appraisal. I can't do all that. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what to do. But the fastest way to get to know what is my property actually worth, you have to find an appraisal company. That person's licensed and insured. He's going to tell you what it's worth right now. The catch is this. If you are not ready to sell your property right this second, that may not be the smartest move to go. Why is that? Because an appraisal is only good for properties that have actually sold within the last 6 months. So if you are still contemplating, I just want to know what it's worth so when I sell it, that is actually, you're going to waste about $300 and some bucks on this appraisal. Because if you want to sell it a month from now, or 2 months from now, or 3 months from now, the values have already shifted. Remember, there's 7 things to understand when you're trying to get a value or an appraisal done on your property. There's 7 things that you've got to get. I'm going to go over a couple of these items. So the other thing that you want to do is this. You can beg a professional real estate person, like a real estate agent, or a professional home buyer. And I'm saying professional. Here's the reason why. Here's my definition of a professional. Somebody that actually has more than 50 or 100 transactions next to their name, or somebody that is a trained professional in this business of real estate. There is a difference between your sister that just passed the real estate school, and because she is your sister that has 0 sold or 0 anything dealing with experience, or only 5 properties and all of them are your aunts and uncles, that, I'm sorry, is not a professional person yet. She will be there. But you want to get somebody professional that knows what they're doing, because at the end of the day, they're going to tell you the truth related to the property because they have experience with values and they get what does it take. So what's a CMA? A CMA is somebody that you can get from normally who is a licensed real estate agent, who is a professional licensed real estate agent, or somebody who is a professional home buyer like myself. My wife is the real estate broker. I am the professional home buyer. I've been doing this for about 19 years. So what's a CMA? Well, a CMA is what they call a comparable marketing analysis. So when you're dealing with a marketing analysis, you're dealing with what has actually sold within your area within the last 6 months. So I'm going to go over that. So why beg for it? Well, first of all, if you're not wanting to sell your property right now, it does take quite a bit of work to do a correct CMA, period. Now, what do I mean by correct? You can literally just put in somebody's address, ask anybody, hey, can you do a CMA for me? That's a comparable report, and they could spit it back out. The only thing is, if they don't know what they're doing, that's actually going to hurt. Meaning, they could actually screw up your numbers and not understand what they're actually looking for, because they don't even know what they're looking for. So here's what I found out. These 7 things, I'm going to add it right here. So if you're looking for 7 different things when it comes down to a CMA, I'm going to give you like the top 4 or 5, okay? So the first thing is you want to make sure that they're looking for properties that have sold within the last 6 months that's similar to year built of your property. So it's got to be 5 years up or 5 years down. And again, what has sold within your area. The other thing is similar in square footage. So something that you can't compare a 200 square foot or 2,000 square foot house to a 1,000 square foot house. You could compare the square footage amount, but you cannot, you have to compare the actual per square footage sold amount. Just because your neighbor's for sale does not mean that value counts to as yours house. Just FYI, his is for sale. Just like I could say, hey, my neighbor's house is for sale for $2 million. It doesn't mean my house is for sale for $2 million or the value's at $2 million. What matters is actually what has sold. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna keep on going. So the other thing is square footage. The other thing, people forget about this all the time. Style. You can't compare a 2-story home to compare to a 1-story home. That has no comparison at all, zero. But people do that all the time. Well, that property is so, no, I'm telling you, it's similar in year built, 5 years up, 5 years down. Similar square footage, and also similar in style. And then here's the other thing as well. You've also got what I call upgrades, downgrades that you've got to think about as well. Meaning, is your property, when you look at all the other properties that have sold, are they similar in a sense of the upgrades or downgrades? Is your an upgrade compared to everything else? Then probably you could sell it for a little bit more. Is your a downgrade compared to everybody else? Then you're gonna have to sell yours for a little bit less. But this is all a mathematical equation that a professional is gonna understand how to take that mathematical equation and spit back out an opinion. Remember, the definition of appraisal, and you can look this up, is an opinion of a person that is a licensed appraiser. That's the only difference. So does this make any kind of sense? I hope it does. So we're going to keep on going. So again, year built, similar in square footage, similar in style, upgrades, downgrades, anything else that we're missing? Well, when it comes down to it, again, it matters what has sold within the last 6 months. So I'm going to put down there, sold within the last 6 months. You've got to look at that. That is a huge difference as well. And then you also want to check what I call radius as well. So what that means is you can't compare a house that sold 10 miles away from you compared to a house that sold right next to you that's exactly like your house. That's also another thing. Again, this is a mathematical equation. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you, but this is the truth. All right, so now we're gonna go, if this makes any kind of sense, now we're gonna move over here as well. The other thing is you could always ask, and I'm gonna look for this, I just wanna make sure, I got my cheat sheet right here. Perfect. So you could always ask a GC as well for advice. Now, why is that? Just because when you're dealing with, well, how do I know that what's my property worth? Why should I bring a GC? Well, a lot of times what I have found, a lot of people's homes are a downgrade, not an upgrade compared to the ones that have sold for top dollar. Well, you could always ask a GC, hey, if I want to upgrade it compared to the property that sold right next door for, let's say you bought your house for $150, theirs sold for $220, but it's the same house, what is it worth for me to do that? Well, if you can make, let's say, $20,000 more on your home sale, but you've got to invest $25,000 to get that 20 for a negative of 5, was it smart to go that route of investing that amount of money to fix your property? No, possibly not. So, but you've got to get the bids from professional individuals. Or Franklin, I'll just do that rehab myself. I've seen a whole bunch of HGTV shows. I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't do that. We just bought a property from some very sweet couple that try to do the exact same thing. I get this all the time. Again, if you're not doing this for a living, real estate is a very hard business. This is super unforgiving. Just because you think you can make, I'm going to make all this much money, but you forget the management, time, insurances. People do screw up all the time. And just because your Uncle George says he knows how to lay tile, don't hire your Uncle George. Uncle George, I love you, but you know you did me wrong when you did that house at 2609 East Columbus Avenue. We're not going to talk about it, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's keep on going. So right over here, you want to also hire, again, I'm going to keep on bringing this up, professional home buyer and or real estate agent. Now you want to have a real estate agent that has a background in actually purchasing properties, that understand the construction side. Normally home buyers like ourselves, we do construction all the time. We have rehabs going all the time. So I already know when we look at a property, I can assess it fairly quickly because this is literally what we do. So when it comes down to it, you want to make sure that real estate agent, it's a professional real estate agent. Ask for referrals. Same thing with a home buyer. Ask for referrals. Hey, what was the last 5 properties that you actually purchased? Professional home buyer. Or over here, what was the last 5 properties that you personally rehabbed? How do you know what you're telling me is a downgrade or upgrade? What is that worth? Don't have somebody tell you, oops, man, it's only $5,000 upgrade for that kitchen. Really? Tell me specifically who is that person. Because there's no kitchen that I know about that you can install it, get everything complete, and get everything professionally done for just $5,000. Now you're like, Franklin, my uncle does that. I just told you, do not hire your uncle. Don't do that route, okay? But just remember, for example, if you're trying to actually install a kitchen, there's about 5 different contractors that you have to hire, and none of them are named Franklin. So all of them have sometimes some time management issues, okay? So the first thing is this, think about this. The same company that's gonna install your granite countertops is not the same company that's gonna do the floors in your kitchen. The same company that does the floors is not the same company that actually does the kitchen cabinets as well. The same company that's doing the kitchen cabinets is not the same company that's gonna do the actual plumbing. The same plumbing crew is not going to do the electric that you want for the new lighting system of your brand new kitchen. Oh yeah, and the same company that's doing that is not going to install your new appliances that you want as well. And that same company is not going to do the baseboards around your kitchen that's going to have the quarter round next to it as well. So all those are different contractors with a different set of issues to make sure they can get on your job site correctly, affordably, and on time. If you don't believe me, those people that have actually been in construction or have done this, please comment below and tell me that I'm telling the truth here, okay? Let everybody know. So hopefully you guys get something out of this. But again, what's your property worth? Look, that's kind of a loaded question if you can't tell. There's a lot of different factors. But again, you have the choice. You can hire an appraiser company. You can find somebody who's a professional home buyer, professional real estate agent, and get them to do you a favor and order a CMA. It does take quite a bit of time if they do it correctly, with pictures as well. The other thing is, number 3 is hiring a GC. Normally you could get a good GC out there, pay them $50 or $100 just for their time to consult with you. Wisdom is one of the greatest investments you could actually put. So make sure you do that as well, and or hire a professional home buyer or real estate agent with a track record. There is a big difference between somebody with a track record and somebody without a track record. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. I know this was a lot in just one video, but anyway, if you got something out of it, don't forget to smash that like button. And we're buying properties all the time. So if you know anybody that's trying to sell, let us know. We can see what we can do to help. Talk to you guys later. Bye.